Greetings and felicitations, YouTube, and welcome to Poseidon's Cliffs. Dardania and the Amazons versus Dardania and the Amazons. So, okay, I'm gonna quickly slow this down and just kind of talk about this game and its really kind of epic vistas here. It's just so pretty. I love this game so much. Anyway, yeah, I'm playing as Dardania with an archer skirmisher hero against a Dardania with Aeneas. My ally is a Penthesilea with a fighter Ravager, and we're facing a Hippolyta with a, you guessed it, fighter Ravager. I'm gonna quickly go over the armies and then talk about some things to glean from this battle. Archer Skirmisher Hero on the Light Chariot for 205 range and 530 missile damage. I brought 2 Heavy Trojan Chariots, 2 Savage Centaur Warriors with 1 XP Chevron, backed up by 3 Dardanian Mob. They won't come in handy until very late, and 2 other Dardanian Mob out here on the far left. My main line is, of course, 3 Dardanian Defenders with 1 XP each, and 3 Fearless Swords. I've already moved up to go ahead and start picking away at my opponent, but let's talk about my allies' army real quick, because it's a weird one. This is a Penthesilea list that has a Furies with, that's, I do believe, 5 XP. 2 of them, actually. There's a Hippomachoi with 2 XP, 2 Harpies, the Fighter Ravager is on foot, a Spartoi, and 2 Daughters of Ares, 1 with 1 XP, 1 with 2 XP, and that's it. This isn't even like small funds. They just brought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 units, and that's it, and then dumped about, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 funds into XP. I was kind of flabbergasted when I watched my ally pick this army. Our opponents. Let's talk about Aeneas first. This is his entire force. 3 Dardanian defenders in the back with 4 XP, 4 XP, and 5 XP. A Fearless Swordsman with 6 XP. A Centaur Champion and a Savage Centaur Warrior. 3 Heavy Anatolian Swords. And 3 Anatolian Slingers, one of them with 1 XP. I did the math, by the way, and if he hadn't spent all of that XP funds here, he would have had more than 850 funds remaining. So he could have, instead of dumping all this funds into XP, he could have brought 4 Dardanian Mob, or he even could have brought another Heavy Anatolian Sword if the mob just isn't his style. The Hippolyta player brought 2 Horsewomen, which are hidden up here, and then deployed back behind the shrubbery. 2 Amazon Chargers and an Initiate, 3 Huntresses, a War Maiden, 3 Amazon Archers, 2 Coronites, the Fighter Ravager hero is on foot, and 2 Aristomachoi. Now, I've gone ahead, I've snuck up here so I can start picking away at the enemy. I've already put some, dropped some bodies across a couple of these units. These aren't very expensive units. I'd love to get my shots into the Aristomachoi, but I'm very concerned because of the position of the ground here. If he moves up his infantry to cut me off, my only avenue of escape is deeper behind enemy lines, which isn't great. It means I'm singled out, or into the shrubbery, which will slow me down. And there's also some physical like branches and things in here too that chariots have to go around. They can't just go right into it. So that's going to go back and forth for a little bit. Now, when I deployed, I used the map painting tools quite liberally to try and tell my ally what I wanted them to do. I wanted them to deploy most of their forces here in the trees, and then prepare for flanking attacks into the open ground while we set up my infantry right here, and he also is wise enough to keep the Harpies nearby. Also, my ally is wise enough not to just go all in with the small forces that he has. He's supporting my main line, which I am ever grateful for, because we don't have the numbers to take this on. If we attack, we will very likely lose this battle. I'm getting very bold with my Archer Skirmisher over here, just trying to find a way to get up here and deal some shots against the Aristomachoi. And the reason why I'm doing this, I'm picking on the Hippolyta player specifically because I think I can goad Hippolyta into attacking. I'm not so sure about if I even want to goad Aeneas into attacking. But Hippolyta, yeah, sure. Let me see if I can't just pull her forces out of position and come down and attack me. This is going to take a while, but this is exactly what the Archer Skirmisher is made for. I love the Archer Skirmisher hero for this. His range surpasses everybody else's in the game, and his arrows drop bodies. Constantly drop bodies. You can see I've already done significant numbers of casualties all across these units here. 2 there, 7 there, 5 there, another let's see here, yeah, 9 right there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna keep moving around back and forth, shooting into them, killing as many models as I can. The Aeneas Dardanian player over here is going to hold his ground rather solidly. And still, my ally is wise enough not to just blindly attack. This might actually be, it's good that he makes this attack because it might push back the slingers, but he's going to get caught by some centaur champions. The horsewomen are going to trigger out here. Oh, and look at that. He's going to be able to stay away from this too. 110 speed is better than the centaurs with their speed.
Your ally is being
going to get away from that. Might catch some slings in the end. The horsewomen weren't goaded into an attack like I thought they would be, but they did push back my Archer Skirmisher hero. But I just go ahead. I'm going to move right back on up. Get right back to drop the bodies. That's what I do. I'm going to go ahead and pull down my my chariots and centaurs as well. Eat up some more of the opposing ammo. And this is honestly, this is every chariot's dream vision right here. It's a whole bunch of light infantry just in my way. Here you go. Enjoy. I get that first order in, and then it's just moved straight on down the line. Oh man, that's what I'm talking about. He does try to move up some heavy infantry to chase off my chariots, but the damage is already done. Look at that front line. It is eviscerated. There's some javelins here getting off some opportunistic shots, some arrows as well. I'm going to go ahead and get a strike order on these horsewomen, and he's going to go ahead and meet my charge. But here's the thing about chariots. They also have bonus versus large. So though we're going to take some damage here from the skirmisher fire, we're also going to deal a ton of damage on these horsewomen. And this is easily paid for my chariots now. Those three infantry units aren't all that expensive, but I am also dealing a ton of damage to these horsewomen.
One of your units has no more ammunition.
And the Archer Skirmisher hero was, for a short while, distracting the attention of all of their ranged fire. The Aeneas Dardanian player is, for the most part, still stationary here because of a lot of, bait and switches, going in, coming out, attacking, not attacking. And it's giving him stuff to look at. The Furies here are going to... I guess they were trying to wrap up some of the initiates. I think they need to get out of here before the Aristomachoi show up. That's not good for them. You'll note that our force, though, our primary force is stationary. We're not going into this. We'd rather pull them out and attack us. Centaur warriors with a ton of casualties from facing my chariots. Horsewomen are heavily damaged. There's some heavy infantry coming this way. There's some javelins coming my way. But we're all able to get out of this. Furies have regrouped with me. They got away from the Aristomachoi, no problem. Archer Skirmisher hero is popping off more shots. He just made his 100th kill. This is going really, ultimately, very well for us. I'm going to try and get some kills on horsewomen, on Aristomachoi. It's a nice blob. If I can get some arrows into that, it's all the better for me. I do catch a javelin out here just by itself, so I'm going to go ahead and hit it with my heavy Trojan chariot. I mean, there's no reason not to. This is a light infantry unit, and that's what chariots are made for fighting. Well, I mean, they're made for fighting lots of things, but they do really well against light infantry. Horsewoman's going to come out here and try and grab me. It is going to deal some morale hits, but I'm going to go ahead and meet that attack. Get in here with another heavy Trojan chariot. That's going to break this one, but you see here comes the Furies. They got a bonus versus large, and if we get lucky, we might be able to pull all the way through and get to these Anatolian slingers again. We're just punishing so much of their force before they even get to face our primary army. I'm going to go ahead and give an attack order to my Archer Skirmisher hero out here to attack this Aristomachoi, but something goes very wrong with his line of sight, and for whatever reason, even as my chariots are out here doing all this work, and that's where my micro attention is, he goes into melee, and I have no... It has something to do with angle of attack, and he is doomed. This is horrific for me. I see the slingers falling back over here, and I'm going to go ahead and attack with these Dardanian mobs to try and catch him. My chariot just popped right there, and I activate Aristea just so I can run away. I gotta get out of there quickly. And I'm off to the races now. I gave him, that's his move order. He's supposed to get back here behind the line, but this also, luckily, even though I'm able to get away, and I lost a ton of his ammo from losing that chariot, this allows me to pull Hippolyta's army all the way out here as the Furies and Hippomachoi of my ally and my Dardanian mob and this heavy Trojan chariot just give a quick hit and run attack and deal a quick strike here against Dardania. What we've done is we've effectively separated
Your warriors have been routed.
Our two enemies. Like, this is a distraction. That attack that I just did here. This is giving me all the opportunity to flake around here. Here the Furies have gotten into a ton of the skirmishers. They were wide open. The Spartway are tearing apart some Centaur champions and Centaur warriors. We're going to go ahead and pull our forces out of here. Daughters of Ares are now going to jump in on this. I've pulled my heavy infantry up. We're going to just collapse in on top of the of Hippolyta's forces, and this is a done deal. This is exactly what we needed. I'm expending my javelin ammo off of my heavy infantry. Tasty battle. And the Dardanian player is regrouping now, and he's going to go ahead and try and get some kills with his slingers on, my routing Dardanian mobs. I love Dardanian mobs. Even when they're running away, they're doing their job, getting shot. Such good lads. And I go ahead and I move up a pair of Dardanian defenders because I know I'm going to need to slow down this force because he's going to attack any second. And sure enough, that's when he realizes he needs to engage because we've wrapped up. This is done. Yeah, he's got health and ammo on these skirmishers, but there's some heavy cavalry out here that have Strider and don't care about the scrubs who are going to attack. I've got my forces regrouping in the trees here, and we're already done. We are already done with the Aristomachoi and the Coronites and the War Maidens. This is just completely wrapped up. This Fighter Ravager, I'm going to go ahead and chase it off with one of my Fearless Swords and the 3 Dardanian mob. And that's going to keep that Fighter Ravager occupied for the rest of the battle. And here's the moral of the story. You can win in a 2v2 with a bad army so long as you have good tactics versus a good army if they use bad tactics. I'm not saying that our opponents were bad at the game, and I'm not saying that my ally made terrible army picks. I'm saying that in a 2v2 scenario, so long as you coordinate with your teammate, you will be victorious. And somehow, even though I counted out this Penthesilea player early on, when they were just from the faction picks and the army picks, I was very concerned that this was going to be an uphill battle for me as Dardania, but because they were willing to cooperate with me and work on my tactics, and they played with patience, we were able to pull off a defeat in detail. We peeled away sections of the Hippolyta Amazonian army one by one, and we did the same with a couple of pieces of the Dardanian army here. And oh yeah, that was a good shot. That was, oh gosh, 88 Dardanian defenders out of 120. I think that was his last round of ammunition off of my archer skirmisher here. 182 kills now. But as you can see, we have the tools. We can do this. I'm also getting some flanking forces on the move over here. The Dardanian mobs and the Savage Centaur warriors. What a team those guys make. The slingers are going to go ahead and open fire on my Dardanian defenders. This one's outnumbered 2-1. This slinger gets engaged for some reason. Can't say why. And this is just pretty much a last-ditch charge. This is for the glory. This is what the Aeneas player is doing here. He's going all in. He's got to attack. Let's see how these Daughters of Ares did. 44 kills, 71 kills. Daughters of Ares versus Dardanian defenders. Here we go. Here's a marquee matchup. I want to watch this. Here we go. These are two really good units, but oh man, those Daughters of Ares though. You got them in behind, and they're going to rear charge, but they're also going to get intercepted by the looks of it by another Fearless Swords. Look at the Dardanian defender morale just eviscerated by the fear effect from the Daughters of Ares. I've got this unit, this Fearless Sword out here because I had an opportunity to flank attack this Dardanian defender, but it's already broken anyway. Aeneas is up here, helping to tank out against my Dardanian defender. I'm going to go ahead and charge into melee with my Archer Skirmisher hero. In the meanwhile, what's left of Hippolytus' forces are just completely destroyed by cavalry. Here comes some Centaur champions and Centaur warriors trying to wrap things up. You can see that my flanking force of mob and Centaurs have grabbed the Anatolian slingers, and they're pretty much done for. Looks like the Centaurs are going to get caught by Spartoi. Oh, but then the Spartoi just get easily run over by the heavy cavalry. And then they're going to charge straight on through, try and grab some Harpies. But here's the thing, when you're this hurt as a Savage Centaur warrior, Harpies are a bit more of a challenge for you than you think they'd be. 125 weapon damage. And they do have some javelins left. With oh, and a Fury actually regrouped just to meet the charge on the Savage Centaur warrior. I don't know who's going to win this, actually. There's only 2 Furies left in that unit. The Centaur champion, though, is going to do just fine against the Harpy, but it is being chased by Spartoi. Look at that. The Furies massacring those Savage Centaur warriors with the support of the Harpies, even though there was only the 2 of them. That's really impressive. The morale that he purchased allowed that Fury to stay into the game much longer than it normally would have otherwise. You can see here that the morale is just dropping all over the place. The Daughters of Ares are now going to use their fear attack. There is a terror activated on this Dardanian defender from the Fighter Ravager hero, but we're all now collapsing in on top of Aeneas. And just waiting until he figures out how dead he is. There you have it. The dead litter of the battlefield. And I just kind of skipped straight to the end. Yeah. There wasn't that much left to watch in the battle other than a whole bunch of mob gaining up on one singular Fighter Ravager hero. So, as you can see, 194 kills to my my Archer Skirmisher hero. 141, 99, 100, 111, 120. So that's 231 kills for my Trojan Chariots. Over 100 kills for my Centaur Warriors. My allied triple-digit kills, which is absolutely necessary. That needed to happen with the performance of this army, considering how much XP was spent across all these units, especially on the Furies. Furies are paper thin, so putting the extra XP on them, it doesn't give them better armor. You know, they will get torn apart, and that's very, it's a risky play. This is a risky army, and it worked out only because this player had the patience to work with me on my tactics, and we were able to pull apart the enemies. Speaking of which, Dardania, we kept out of the fight almost until the very end, and as a result, their kills just aren't really all that impressive. They did manage 79 kills with an Anatolian Slinger. That's a really good job. No XP pickup for that unit, however. And unfortunate, though, they spent 800 XP just on the 800 funds just on the XP. They could have had a much wider army, something, you know, closer to the numbers on mine. As you can see, he was short only 3 units, smaller than my army, but he could have brought 4 more. So he could have ended up with 1 more whole unit than I brought, and an Aeneas. So not too bad. Asgar Casas over here. Unfortunately, we were able to just pick them apart slowly. The Fighter Ravager hero is the most killingest unit in this army, but that was pretty much mobs. Don't mind it so much when I lose mobs. That's pretty much their job. So yeah, there you go, a 2v2 with some Amazon gameplay for you, and a lesson, a moral. And the moral that I want you all to take away from this one is focus on the teamwork aspect of a 2v2. You can win with poor picks, or let's say the enemy counter picked you, and there's very little you can do about that if it happens. That's kind of like the luck of it. Sometimes you predict one style of gameplay and your opponent's bringing something else completely different. But if your opponents in a 2v2 do not coordinate their efforts, if they put an actual physical boulder between their armies and that boulder transcends from being a physical boulder and into a metaphysical boulder, that's the end of your forces. If you do not coordinate together, if you do not find a way to use that physical boulder to your teamwork advantage, well, sorry to say, you can still lose. So, there you go. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Ta-ta, I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.